Hello everyone and welcome to this Gambit chess video. And today I'll play a computer on chess.com and try and steer it into a gambit depending on what they do. I had some viewers and subscribers ask about gambits and if I play them often. I don't play them as much, but let's try and play one here today. So I'm playing against Ludwig. 1200 rated. Ludwig is an American streamer, YouTuber, Smash Brother, commentator, and celebrity personality. And it says, can you defeat this Pog Champs veteran? So we'll play against this chess bot and see how it turns out here. Alright, so I'll choose him, play a 10-minute game, and let's find out what happens if I can even play a gambit depending on what they decide to do here. All right, here we go. So I have white. I'll try and do the Danish Gambit. Okay, so I may be able to do it here. We'll see what they do. All right, yeah, so this is the Danish Gambit here. You give up the center pawn, and then you could even give up another pawn, so I'll try that and see what happens. All right, so now I've given up two pawns in return for one, but I have two bishops just lined up here on the king side. So I'm going to go ahead and probably just continue development here. Let's see. If I try immediately to attack this f7 square, he could block that with his knight. So I'll just continue developing here, bring the knight up. All right, so this move, I don't know if that was the best thing to do because it kind of blocked in his own bishop here. So that's not good. I could just pile up the pressure here, bring this knight up. And then what would he do? Well, I guess he could protect it by moving his knight out. So I'll just continue with development here. Just bring out castle, get my rook closer to the center. And so in gambits, you basically give up material in return for something, faster development and attack. But you have to watch out that you don't waste your time, because if you just slowly trade off material and go into an end game, you're just behind material. So you need to figure out some way to press an attack. All right, so what should we try here? I guess he may threaten to attack us here. So should I just move my bishop up here and cut him off? Because he could just move here and attack my bishop. And then what should I try and do? Well, let's see. Maybe now is the time to just start adding pressure, but instead, I'll just keep developing, I guess. We'll just continue to develop pieces. All right. So now, we'll just line that rook up there. Okay, so now we could just press forward here, try and break open the center before the king can get out of there. All right. Okay. Now, what would be best? Guess we'll try that. Okay. Let's see. Guess. Well. Do I go after this knight? And so here, I don't know, it's starting to look like I wasted my lead in development here. You know, what can I do? I guess I could just press this knight forward, but then that might lead to an exchange of material. But I guess I'll go here. All right, now I'll just continue developing here, bring this knight up here, and then let's see. I guess I could just put more. Well, I can't do that. So now, I could attack the queen. So now I'm running into issues because I'm behind in material here. All right, maybe we just retreat back here. All right, so he's trying to block me out. I could go after this pawn here, which I guess that might work. All right, we'll go after that pawn and attack the bishop here. Okay, so he blocks. What can we do now? Well, let's take a look here. And I'm running out of time a little bit too, so I have to be careful. I guess we could attack his queen here. So maybe that is what we will do. We'll just attack his queen. Go ahead and do that. Okay. And now, maybe if we go here, and then we might be able to bring our bishop down here and attack. All right, so he's threatening to jump in here. What will that do? I guess we can just go after, we could pin this knight, or should we just attack it? We could possibly attack it. Let's do this. Let's pin the knight. All right, so he's lining up here, but now I guess we could just attack the queen, capture the knight there. Okay, interesting. He's giving us more material. Is this a trap? I don't see anything, so we'll just continue forward. Now, do we just keep attacking this queen? That could be an option. So let's attack the queen. We'll just keep attacking. All right. And now we could attack again, but then he'll capture our knight. We could attack with the pawn possibly. We're in check, so we have to deal with that. I'm going to say, let's just attack that queen. Oh, and I let him capture me here. But we may be able to use that to have an open line on the king there. So we'll go ahead and block, and then we can just move forward here, and the queen is trapped basically. So all right, so now we're ahead enough where we have a winning advantage. And what do we have, a minute and a half left? So I probably should have done a better job at generating an attack earlier in the game. And so gambits, your playing style really makes a difference as well. So how do we break through here? Let's attack that. Might as well go ahead and capture. So now we're just picking off material. Okay, let's go ahead and start attacking that king. All right, and we have a mate. Okay, well, that took just, 31 moves, I think. So I'll take a look. I'll do a quick game review and see, what I could have done better. Now, I don't play that Danish Gambit, hardly, once in a while I might try it out, but I don't usually play it. So I'm sure, I didn't play the best moves. But remember, when you don't know an opening and you're unfamiliar with it, one of the best things you can do is just follow general opening principles by developing your pieces quickly, trying not to move them more than once in the opening, put your pawns out in the center, get your king castled to safety, put your rooks on open files or half open files. So looks like 76.8 versus his 63.7. He did have one blunder. Looks like I had 2 missed opportunities and 6 inaccuracies. So I'll do this quick review here, and then I'll do an analysis with the computer, which will show us even more. All right, so the Danish Gambit, you basically play e4, e5, and then you move your pawn up to d4. And generally, if you do that, and they capture, if you capture with the queen, then they'll be able to develop a knight and attack your queen, and you'll have to retreat and you lose time. But this Danish Gambit allows you to push this other pawn forward here to c3. If they don't capture it, then you can capture and have 2 really good central pawns here, and then you can develop your knight and start developing your pieces easily. But usually they'll capture, which is probably the best thing to do. So they'll capture, and then you have to make the decision whether to recapture with your knight or just develop the bishop here and let them capture another pawn on b2 and then recapture with your other bishop. So that's what happened in the game, and we ended up having 2 bishops just lined up on the king side. Now I played a 1200 rated computer level, this chess bot, so they could have done, if I played a higher level, they would have put up more resistance. So I think I kind of let the game fizzle out before I generated an attack. So let's take a look here. So this move here was a mistake. It blocks in the bishop, and the knight, if the knight wanted to go to d7, but the knight would probably go to c6 anyway. This was a mistake move by the computer. Just developing the knight would have been better. Basic general opening principles. Develop your pieces as fast as you can, because it's a race in chess to see who can get their pieces to be more active, and that'll generally give you an advantage. And knights are slower, so you want to develop them first. All right, so knight to c6 would have put the game slightly in black's favor. And so instead, we have the queen move. Then let's see, I castled, He moves this knight up. Okay, here we have another mistake. Bishop to e7. This allows the opponent to win material by trapping a piece. Okay. And yeah, here we go. I just completely overlooked this because I was unfamiliar with this opening. And it was a 10-minute game, so I was probably trying to play quickly. I should have just captured this pawn, and then I could have captured the rook here and had a winning advantage. So, or at least a good advantage. I get a pawn back and trade a bishop for a rook, and then he can't castle on the king side. All right, so f6 would have been better to block that attack by the bishop. So here, of course, I missed my opportunity, and then the game is just about even after this move. So I definitely overlooked that. Okay, so now I attack up here, but he recaptures with this knight, when instead he should have recaptured with the pawn. So I'll take a closer look at these moves when I do the analysis. Here I'll just point out what we missed. So knight takes e5 is a miss. So instead I should have captured with the rook. Interesting. Let's see. So if we go back. Okay, they wanted me to attack with the rook, and then if he recaptures with the pawn, well, then we recapture, I assume, and attack the queen. So with that, we are also able to capture this with the combined force of the knight and the bishop here. All right. So moving on. Here, another mistake. b5, attacking the bishop would have been better, driving the bishop back and forcing him to retreat. All right, so we captured a pawn. This is a mistake with this bishop move. It looks like instead attacking with the rook to d7 would have been better. All right, and another mistake. So the computer had quite a few mistakes here. The next chess gambit, or in the future chess gambit videos, I'll have to maybe bump the computer level up a little bit. I tried to keep it a little lower so we can see how to take advantage of mistakes, although I did miss that rook that I could have captured. All right, so let's see, bishop to h4. This is a blunder. Rook attacking the queen would have been better. So let's see, this is a blunder, which, well, it just lets me capture this knight and attack the queen, so which was the best move. All right, so moving on here. Now his queen is trapped. So here we get the queen, and then that's a huge winning advantage. All right, let's see here. And moving on, a few moves later, it leads to checkmate. So 1250 versus 800, and this was supposed to be what, a 1200 rated computer. So I'll have to bump up the difficulty to make it a closer game with not so many huge mistakes. All right, so we'll do a quick analysis from the beginning of the game. Let's see here. So e4, e5. Now, this is a good way to start, especially if you're a beginner. Play e4 because it leads to open games, quick development of the pieces, more tactics, which is what you need to learn when you're starting out. So d4, we offer up this pawn, but then we play the Danish Gambit, offering up another pawn here. So after capture, now we have the decision to capture with the knight or to develop the bishop here, lining up on this weak f7 square. And it says knight captures is better because you don't lose another pawn like this, but now this allows the bishop to capture, and you're ahead in development. You have two pieces developed, firing up the board here towards the king side, and so now we have d6 being played, which is an inaccuracy. The computer wanted bishop to b4 with check here. So that move would basically force you to deal with this check. If the king, or excuse me, if the bishop checks our king, what do? Probably put your knight in front so you can keep the bishop pair. Let's see what the computer recommends. So, well, it actually recommends here knight to f6. So that's interesting. And bishop to b4 check. That seems interesting, but by moving that bishop, we could block. Black will have to watch out that we can't capture this g7 pawn and attack the rook, which I missed later in the game. So d6 was played. We just continue development, which this is the best move. We're ready to castle. And then this mistake. Black should have continued with normal development, bringing this knight out. And now this queen just blocks the bishop in. Not very good here. All right, so we castle, which is best. The king is safe. Our rook is out, ready to move behind this e-pawn and line up on the king. So knight to c6, excellent move. But now the computer prefers this knight to h6 move. Moving on, knight to d2. And it doesn't like that. It prefers an immediate rook to e1, just lining up on the king here, which that's probably best. Trying to generate an attack by pushing forward here, and just trying to break open the position while the king is stuck in the middle. Now we have a block here. The bishop jumping in front in case the rook does move and try to attack up here. But, I overlooked that now this allows this bishop to just capture the g-pawn and then capture the rook. So I completely overlooked that because I was worried about where I was going to develop my pieces. And so I overlooked, a winning attacking move here. I go here to line up on the king when I should have just watched what my opponent was doing. So very important after each move, at least say or ask yourself what your opponent's move did, what changed in the position after that move, and then I would have noticed this unprotected pawn and the capture of this rook here. So moving on, knight to f6, the best move, controlling the center, attacking the pawn, but allowing black to castle and blocking the bishop here. All right, so e5, the best move, attacking and trying to open the position while the king is still in the center. But we have knight capture, when a pawn capture would have been better. And so now I capture with the knight, but the computer prefers either a bishop capture or a rook capture. So after I make that move here, it's saying that the rook capture is better, but if I go back, it says that the bishop capture is better down here. So the computer is a little bit conflicted on what would be better. So let's take a look at this rook capture. So after rook captures, the pawn should capture, and then this allows a knight capture, attacking the queen, But now the bishop and the knight pile up on this pawn right here, and the possibility exists to capture here and keep the king stuck in the middle. So let's see, queen to f5 is what is recommended. So after that, now capturing, keeping the king stuck in the middle. So once the king moves to here, the follow-up that's recommended is just to retreat the knight, it looks like. So a retreat of the knight, but possibly the knight could reposition into the center and attack the queen again here. So, that's a possibility of how the game could have gone. Now you have the king stuck in the middle. And, oh, actually it says this is a blunder. All right, why is that a blunder? Well, I guess there's a possible attack. Oh, you just capture the bishop. Okay. All right, I should have seen that. Let's go back and see what should have been played. So knight at d to f3. So this move, excuse me, this is what the computer wanted because we have to protect that bishop with this knight. All right, so after that move, well then queen to f4 is what the computer wants. So anyway, you can kind of see how the game could have gone. Let's go back here and see what actually happened. So after knight captures, we captured with the knight, and now the game is about even again. So after this recapture, we were only slightly ahead, and then bishop captures, but here it says rook capture would have been better. So capturing with the rook would have allowed us to maybe move the queen and the other rook in behind here and try and put pressure on this bishop. So now the advantage is with black. So after castling, which is best, the king is safe, and we move our queen here, which it says is an excellent move, trying to eye the king side here. And now the rook and queen line up on our knight. So now we have to do something about that. So, and it says this is a mistake though, that b5 would have been better. So we play here the best move, getting this king, or excuse me, this knight out of the line of attack and over towards our king side. And then we have b5, but now this isn't the best move anymore. Rook to f8 would have been better. Moving back and I guess protecting this f pawn, which the bishop is lined up on. Interesting. All right, so we retreat, and that's an inaccuracy. Rook at a to d1 would have been better, just to attack the queen here. So now the queen has time to move, and we capture a pawn here, which it says is best. And now bishop to d7 is a mistake. Instead, the rook should have attacked our queen, driving us back. But now that gives us time to attack their queen. Although, once again, the computer prefers rook at a to d1, which would put pressure on this bishop here. So, the possibility of capturing the knight and then capturing the bishop here. All right. So queen retreat, the computer says that's best. And now we have the rook trying to grab the open file here. But attacking here is preferred. Jumping the knight up to c6 and attacking the rook, bishop at the same time. That would probably force the bishop to capture. And then our rook or queen could capture. But it would knock out his bishop pair. All right, a knight move, jumping into our position, getting closer to our king side, but this is a mistake. It looks like bishop to b4 would have been better, attacking our rook. So moving on, we have this, bishop to c2, which the computer says is a great move. It pins the knight to the queen, and now we have two pieces attacking, the rook and bishop attacking this knight. So now a blunder is played. This is a game-losing blunder, tipping the game in white's favor by +6.5 here. This just gives up the knight with an attack on the queen. Better would have been to counter attack our queen here. All right, so we captured the best move, attacking the queen, and we gain the knight. And bishop takes f2, which computer says is good, but better would have been once again to attack our queen. So we capture, and now we're just really ahead here, and the game is pretty much lost for black. So continuing on with the final moves, the queen kind of moves closer to our king. We just attack the queen checks us. And then here I make a little inaccuracy, attacking the queen, allowing him to capture this pawn with check. And it looks like the best move, let's see, would have been just to retreat back with the king and get out of check here. All right, so capture with check. I block with the bishop, although it prefers just moving the king up the board, so that's interesting. Okay, so h5, a mistake, pushing this pawn, maybe weakening the king side even more, and black's already in trouble though. So bishop to h3 would have been better. So just moving down here, threatening this pinned bishop, at least generating some kind of attack, and maybe, well, this knight is protected well enough by the bishop here. Okay, so now the queen is trapped. So this move is a big mistake here because the queen is trapped. So the queen takes material, which I guess I see why he took the bishop, because this bishop was also attacking the rook up here on a8. All right, so king captures. This pawn moves forward, but preferred was just attacking the queen. And now we have bishop moving up here, attacking the rook. And the final moves were a6, capture, bishop moves, and then black is just really behind here. We capture, checking, the king is driven into the corner, and mate is delivered. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this Gambit chess video. That was the Danish Gambit, which I'm familiar with it, but I don't play it as often, so I probably didn't play the best moves at some points in the game, as we saw, and I overlooked a few things. But gambits in general, if you like more attacking tactical games, you may want to try some gambits. They're good for learning how to play in unbalanced positions where you're behind material, but you have some other advantage, like a lead in development or an attack. So try them out. The Danish Gambit, the King's Gambit, maybe even the Queen's Gambit, and there are many, many gambits. And so I'll try and cover more gambits in the future. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to leave comments and suggestions, requests for videos you would like to see. And thank you, everyone. Have a great day.